Some people think there were no black people west of Main Street before the Second World War. That's not true. There were, but there were small pockets. In Los Angeles, when I was born, the center of African American, if you will, life was Central Avenue. The center gradually moved west. The Second World War had a tremendous impact on where black people lived in Los Angeles. As everyone knows, the Japanese were forcibly removed to internment camps at the beginning of the Second World War. They left behind their houses and their churches and their businesses, and black people moved into them. That really sped up, if you will, the exodus of African Americans east to west. When we moved in here, it was not a majority of African Americans. 1975, we were in a smaller house. It was too small. We looked really all over Los Angeles. So we looked at Ladera. I had friends who lived here, but eventually we ran across a house that was kind of distressed, and so we bought that.
As a young professional or a young family striving to move upward, it is a goal to have. Instead of, we're doing better, we can afford a nice house, where in the world do we go in Los Angeles? It's so diverse. And I think it's important in the sense that to be able to set your sights, know the schools, know the kind of people that are in the neighborhood. Ladera was the last to join that group. The first house, 18 years, the second one, 21. We're content with the neighborhood, felt we'd get a good house for our money. Basically, that's the reason we decided to stay in our neighborhood. I think because I was always the person to put things on display. I just started keeping photographs. I started making collages in the 70s, so that made a large display of things. And so I call that the romance room, and that took on that air of having an old-time romance, antique-y look to it, because the rest of the house isn't necessarily antique-y.
My office was in the Bank of Finance building, and Glynis had taken a leave of absence working for the county to work for a very short time in the building as secretary to the bank president, and that's where I met her.
That's correct. He was a cool guy. He drove this 911 T Targa Porsche, and he wore caps and nothing but ballet shoes, smoked a pipe in a very interesting way. He spoke so well, but he didn't speak in that lawyerese kind of thing. He spoke in kind of just normal, nice word tones and had a nice tone, and I found that very, very, actually I found it very sexy, but I did think it was. He told me that as a lawyer representing many different people, he learned a lot about things. So, he knew a lot about architecture or design or things like that because he had represented a roofer or a plumber or something like that. That made our travels a lot of fun, that we had things to do together.
I had 5 children, she had 2. The children actually bonded together very quickly. I'm much less involved in the community than Glynis is.
There are times that I don't have a place for something and I'm unwilling to put it away in a box or a drawer for a while, and then one day the perfect place becomes available.
Glynis and I were in Laguna Beach, and in one of the galleries was this sculpture. Corporal Greaves was a Buffalo soldier after the Civil War, and I fell in love with it. And the only one left was the original work. But because I wanted it, he would sell it. It's like that. We just collected stuff. I'm now qualified as an old man, and old men need comfort. And I want my things that I can look at and remember where I've been, what I did, and take pleasure in them.
Things change, and who knows what they'll be in the future. But I've always enjoyed having the family around. I think even more so he does.
No, I enjoy my children and grandchildren.
I said you do.
Yeah, I do. I really do.